Hello. Today is Wednesday, September 6th, 2017. I'm Sharon Dingus, and I'm here to share with you another ray of light. I'm coming to you from Acres for Art and Enlightenment, home of AwakeningLight.net and Red Dog Creations Art Studio. Today's topic, hummingbirds. How well do you know hummingbirds? It's so interesting to me. You see them pretty much wherever you go if you pay attention. I see them in southern states and northern states. I've not seen them in foreign countries, but I suspect they're there, and I just haven't been in a position to see them. What was interesting is, back in the mid to late 1990s, I lived in central Georgia, and at one point had an apartment that was overlooking a golf course, and thought it would be great fun to have a hummingbird feeder. What I did not know at the time was how territorial and aggressive those little buggers are. It had a second floor balcony and had the couple chairs out there to be able to read and sip some coffee, and without thinking about it, had put up the hummingbird feeder, and it was in position so that when I was sitting in the living room, could enjoy the hummingbirds. But then when I was out on the porch, the hummingbird feeder was kind of right behind my head. And it was very curious sitting out there reading one day. It was really exciting because along comes one hummingbird and then two hummingbirds, and pretty soon it was air to air dogfighting, if you will, and they are extremely territorial, and they will fly into each other. They're almost like little kamikaze pilots that just fly, and they you can hear them zooming in, and you can hear the physical impact when they run into one another. And I don't know what the maximum number of hummingbirds per hummingbird feeder is, but I suspect it's not much more than 2 or 3. Two reasons why hummingbirds came up. One was I was on a conference call earlier this morning with a couple of friends, and we were working on something. And partway through, one of them was like, "Oh my gosh, I just saw a hummingbird poop." Now, come on. Number one, they're hard to see in the first place, but it was the funniest thing I had heard in quite some time. Of how cool would that be to be able to see this little hummingbird poop? Just one of those strange, silly thoughts for the day of, all right, have you ever seen one? No, I haven't seen one. Excuse me, my laptop is going to sleep, and I have a few things I want to pull up on there. The other thing is, having been away from my California home for a few months, my hummingbird feeders that I had out there, number one, they weren't doing too well because I had a neighbor who had much more attractive hummingbird feeders. It was hilarious. Mary, I don't know if you're listening, but oh my gosh, her hummingbird feeders, I think they had like 3 of them and needed to fill them up several times a week, if I'm not mistaken. They wanted nothing to do with the hummingbird feeders that I put outside. So yesterday I'm working and looked out the patio window and saw a hummingbird just outside. So looking at the patio, the old hummingbird feeder there, and one of the trees that was blossoming, there was a hummingbird flitting around, and I could see it come a little close to the patio. Took a look, it's like, okay, she's got the old stuff in there. I'm just going to go on. So today, after the conversation about hummingbird poop, I thought, well, it's darn time. Let me take down the hummingbird feeder. Let me get it all cleaned up. Let me get it reloaded with some fresh nectar, and we'll see if the hummingbirds will come for a visit. So the nearest hummingbird feeder is a full building down, because unfortunately for me, Mary has moved to a different location. So there's less competition for hummingbird feeders. So hopefully I'll be able to enjoy hummingbirds. But they are really cool little birds. And what's interesting is I took a look, and I'm looking off at my laptop here. as spirit animals, certainly they're very quick moving, they're very agile, right? They can hover and they float in midair, and they always appear to be moving. I can tell you for a fact that they do sit, they do sleep. Living here in California, there's like a California peppercorn tree, or I forget the full name, but it's a really pretty tree. And I don't know if you can eat the peppercorns, but they are pretty. The hummingbirds love those. So when you walk around, you can hear this little click, 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 click. And it's the hummingbirds that are up in the trees. And they will sit down, they hang out. I'm sure they sleep in there. But when they're on the move, they're on the move. And they can stop, they can back up, they can hover, they can go up, they can go down. They're just amazing little birds. And aggression is another part of hummingbirds. I was mentioning that they're so very territorial, and they don't bat an eye at protecting what is theirs, and hopefully respecting one another. Otherwise, I don't know how many hummingbirds there would be. So some of the other things, life, love, joy. I don't know about you, but whenever I catch sight of a hummingbird, no matter how many times I've seen one, they fascinate me. And it would be really interesting to have a camera set up to be able to watch them. But all the beautiful colors, and I think I've only seen varieties of green and with the ruby throat and things like that. Excuse me, it's really, really hot here. That's why my hair's up and I'm sweating. So my apologies on that. But hummingbirds are fascinating. And I don't even know what the message is regarding hummingbirds, other than it can be those little things in life, the small packages, right? Small packages, small joys, being able to go long distances, to be able to move quickly, to change direction, being very nimble, being very flexible, having very keen eyesight, because certainly hummingbird feeders, it's nice for the hummingbirds, but that's not what they are. Pollinators. They go for the nectar, and as part of that, they also pollinate the plants that are out there. So they need to have the eyes to be able to sense where the nectar is, and be attracted to those blossoms, or hopefully in this case to my hummingbird feeder, to find the food that they need. And they need to eat routinely, quickly, because they have a very fast metabolism, fast processing, and there's just a delight that many people take regarding hummingbirds. And I think that's part of the message, is just enjoy the lightness, enjoy the joy, take responsibility and ownership for that which is yours. Don't be afraid to defend what is yours in the appropriate manner, right? There are more appropriate and less appropriate ways to defend, depending on circumstances and your personal vibration level. And boy, I would imagine a hummingbird's got a pretty fast vibration, if the beating of the wings is any indication. And yeah, just stop and enjoy the small, silly joys in life, such as watching a hummingbird poop. And don't be afraid to share the silliness with people. I think it's just absolutely fantastic. It set the right tone for my day. Thank you for taking the time to watch. I send you blessings, love, and light as you go about your day today.